guys, welcome back to Talk with Tay. I'm your host, Taylor Newgart, and this is podcast episode number 7. Welcome. I still appreciate you guys just bearing with me during this time. Like I said, there's a lot of change happening in my life. I know you're probably like, oh shit, you're in another area now. That's because I moved again. So that's super cool. Just another one for that area, but that's okay. Excuse my self-tanner on my hands. It's always absolutely atrocious. Currently, I am back down in Southern California with my family, and there may be another move coming up in the near future as well. Again, the setup might change, just continuously keep changing. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. So today I am going to be telling my story on being the victim of bullying. And this is important because I think it kind of retracts back to alongside the story of when I was removed from my father's house. This started to occur right when I had left there and I had moved into my mom's home full time. The story is I'm just kind of going to go through my experience more than just the exact how things went. Never really a specific start or end. So I'll just kind of get into how that entailed. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I had started freshman year and it was kind of pretty normal. I was in a weird spot with the friends that I had that previous year just because of drama that went on between us and stuff like that. And I had made some poor decisions. They had made some poor decisions. So I was already kind of in a weird limbo with the friends I had going into high school. But anyways, I think I kind of explained this in another episode before. For some reason, my name was just very well known. And that's nothing that's I'm not trying to toot my own horn or say this or anything like that. I was just a well-known person in my town. And whether that be that I was social or I just born and raised there, we kind of lived in a small town until it became bigger growing up. So everyone kind of knew most people, especially if you were involved in a lot of things. I'd say I was also very well known around my school, and my sister was an upperclassman at this time, and so she also was involved in a lot of things. So people knew her, and then people knew that I was her sister. So by association, people knew me through that too as well. So my name was just already pretty well known in just the area as well. Fast forward, freshman year starts, and in my area, once you're done in 8th grade, then you would go to high school from 9th grade to 12th grade. People are coming from all different middle schools, so there's just a bunch of different kids coming from different areas. There was a group of girls, and they weren't a group together, all different schools. They had come from, I believe, what started everything, from what I heard later on, was because I mutually knew all of these girls. Like I said, we all kind of grew up in respectively the roundabout area, and we were all just kind of never had issues. It was just also by association. And I became good friends with one of them for a very short amount of time. During this time was right when everything was going down at my home too, where I was being removed from my father's house. So there was just a lot going on. And like I had said in a previous episode, if you haven't listened to that podcast, go listen to it. But like I said, when I left that home, I left with just the clothes that were on my back and my backpack. And I never went back for anything. So come to find out later on, I guess I had been friends with this one girl, and I guess I was at her house one day and I didn't have clothes, and so she let me wear her shorts, and I think I had worn them back to my dad's house. Mind you, I've never stolen anything. I'm not a stealer at stores. I don't steal people's stuff. Never been my motive ever. I guess I had never given those shorts back to her, she never even asked. I never even knew I still had them because there was just so much going on at this time, right? And so that she accused me of, stealing her stuff. And then once that had become a thing, and this happened I'd say pretty quickly after the start of the year, so probably within a month of school starting, I just started to hear rumors about me being spread around the school, which I was kind of rumors that didn't really make sense, that I was kind of confused about how people where they were coming up with these things. Just oh, Taylor's been with X amount of guys, she's sleeps around, she's a whore, she's a horrible person, nobody likes her. I got to the point of it just escalated so quickly. And then What I learned really fast in that is, first of all, one, girls are really mean, but guys can be mean too. And things spread like wildfire in schools, high schools especially, to the point of, mind you, like I had said, when school started, I'd probably been one of the most well-known, popular kids in my entire area, just because I had myself out there. I talked to a lot of people. I knew people from other schools. I had upperclassmen friends from my siblings, stuff like that. And I ended up just, within very quickly a time, I really just started noticing that everybody was pretty much avoiding me. Whether that was like explicitly or implicitly. And I'm talking, like, it happens so fast, to the point of, I realized, especially when there's like rumors spread about people or there are bullies at a school or something, even if people don't believe what they are, or if they think that they don't have anything against that person, they don't even know that person, anything of that, nobody wants to be on the other end of it. And that's what I found out. Nobody wants to be the other person talked about. And so unfortunately, it's a domino effect. One person says something, then the other person agrees, follows along, and it just becomes this wildfire of just hatred. And it, like I said, it happened super quickly, and I was just so confused, because I didn't even understand like why these people were having these issues with him. I would go home and I would talk to my mom and I would cry, and I would just be like, I don't even talk to these people. Like, I'm not saying anything about them. I don't post about them. I was never like, that wasn't my intentions, you know? So I was just so confused why these people were all just randomly starting to feel this way about me. Fast forward a few months go by, it just gets worse. It escalates worse, to the point of, I was hearing things about me that I didn't even like. I was like, oh, like, this is news to me that I've done, because I didn't even know I've ever done that. Or things just like, things that didn't even make sense. So now everybody had this view of me. And like I had said, I was very well known, very popular, just kind of talked to everybody. And now within 6 months of starting high school, I was now literally eating lunch in the bathroom by myself in a stall. Like, you could literally think of it like, I know it's like, I'm laughing now, but it was like so traumatic back then. But like, literally, like in the movies, like, it was really true. And it's funny because a lot of kids then would even call me like a teacher's pet in class and stuff like that. And majority of the time when we weren't in class, I was sitting in my classroom with my teacher, because it was my only safe place for a little bit away from this barnyard of just like horrific things being said to me, done to me, just really, really, really bad. I remember when I had started therapy back then, because it was kind of going through trying to start with my own trauma from my childhood. And then this was happening. I was like, I remember my therapist being like, oh, like, what's your favorite subject in school? I know my least favorite subject, like my least favorite period, lunch and break, my least favorites. And not many kids would say that. It was just so scary out there. It was like a pack of wolves. And as soon as you walk out, it's just like, I could just feel eyes on me and people talking about me. You can sense that people are talking about you, talking behind your back, talking about you in front of you, just being so blatantly mean. So now it was at school, and then it became online as well. So, these girls and guys were saying things about me online, posting things about me, telling me to, kill myself, that nobody likes me, I'm annoying, I have no friends, nobody will ever like me, I'm damaged goods. The list just goes on. The list of everything you could probably think of that you could be told as from a bully is, I've gotten. And it's so interesting, because people are always like, oh, there's like this stigma of like what people look like that get bullied. There's no stigma. And there's bullies, they don't stereotype. Like, it doesn't matter. So now my only safe place, which was school, because my home wasn't safe right before I had, gone to my mom's house. So school was always my safe haven growing up before I was put back into a good home. Now school was no longer safe for me, because I couldn't be myself. I had no support. The only people that were quote unquote there for me were teachers. That was really hard. I just felt so defeated because I'm like, what have I done so bad to deserve this? Like, I feel like I'm a good person, and I feel like I've always done my best to treat people with kindness and include them. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I've never said anything about somebody, because I have, and I totally will grab fault on that. But I've never intentionally, especially not knowing somebody, or just even just the things people would say, like telling somebody to kill themselves and that they're worthless. I don't wish that on anybody. I don't care what you've done to them, especially when you've done nothing to them. Like, these things, they might just be words to people, and they might think like, oh, like, it's not me I'm saying it to. But these things, they stab, like, they dig so hard into people. And freshman year was just horrible. I ended up having one friend I had freshman year, which I am grateful for her, because it was just me and her. And I've always kind of been somebody that just kind of gravitated towards having only like just a closer knit of friends, being associated with a lot of people, but having like a very, very, very small, tight knit, because it's just, I had a lot of trust issues, especially with the way I did grow up and my background and stuff like that. And I just also never really jammed with like big girl groups, because I just it wasn't my vibe, and that's okay. But I also like hung out with a lot of guys, and then that turned back on me for, obviously you could probably understand why, because I had hooked up with a few of them. Or even if I hadn't, you can just imagine the things these girls would say about me. This went on for like straight for like a year, and I'm talking like every single day. It never stopped. It was so horrible every single day. I think I left school probably, I don't even know. I probably left school at least 3 times a week in a mid-panic attack, because I was just so scared. I was scared of the people that were around me. I felt so worthless as a person. I was so confused. I still didn't understand why this was happening to me. I was, doing my best not to engage with it, but like, I mean, damn, like, people always say like, oh, like, sticks and stones break your bones, words don't hurt. Like I've said before, like, words hurt. Like, words hurt. And I know, and I knew then, and I do know now, that it's not a reflection of me. And more times than not, bullying is so much more a reflection of the other person and whatever they're battling inside. That everybody wants to have a target. What target can I have that can make me feel better about myself, knowing how shitty my life is, or what's going on to me behind closed doors, and etc. And of course, if there's one solid target around everywhere, everyone's gonna keep going on that one target, because then they're not gonna be the target, and they're still gonna have somebody to talk about, make fun of, whatever. But like I said, this group of girls, they all just started doing this to me, and then they started all like finding this common denominator of hatred towards me, and then they all became a group, and they were all on a cheer team together. It literally like makes me sick to my stomach just thinking about like times at that time and things that they said and things that they did, because they're not classy women. They were not classy women. They were not classy women then, and they're not classy women now. It was just confusing to me, because I'm like, you don't even put yourself on a pedestal of being like a better person. Like, you're just grimy. I know like people say like, oh, people are jealous, whatever. Regardless of what it is, like, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I don't understand like why you guys think that you're better than me. Like, you're so much better than me as a human being. Like, I'm less than beneath a person to these people. I had a guy friend growing up. He's still a friend of mine to this day. I love him forever. But we had fooled around when we were kids, like genuinely children. And he had a girlfriend, and she was just not there's just certain people out there that are just like, to their core, they're just not good. They're just not nice people. They don't have a good energy to them. And she was like that. I think when she had found out that for some reason that we had fooled around years prior, like as kids, that she hated me for this. So she started the rumor that I was pregnant. Like I said, things spread like wildfire, just wildfire. And I think that was like my last straw. I couldn't do it anymore. I had a boyfriend at this time, my first boyfriend, at a different school. Mind you, this rumor had gotten all the way to that school, like across town. Teachers were emailing my mom, people were calling me, people were texting me, and I was so far at a loss of words. I was like, now I have nobody, yet I have no friends, I have no support, I have all this hatred, and just mean people. And on top of that, now I have to prove that I'm not pregnant. Like, I didn't even know where that rumor came from. My boyfriend at the time, he would have people at his school coming up to him being like, oh, like, are you the father? And he was kind of confused what was going on, but he was really supportive of just like trying to make me feel better, which I'm really grateful for. At that time, I had probably gotten down to one of the lowest spots in my life, because not only had I just been removed from my father's home, which was an abusive home that I was in for years, and my entire childhood was just chaotic with all this shit, I now had I couldn't breathe at school. I was just on fight or flight 100% of the time, because I couldn't turn my back. I couldn't go on social media. I ended up at one point deleting all social media. I just had a flip phone, nothing, because I thought in my head, maybe, my mom was like, maybe if we don't even have anything, you can't even see anything like said online, that like maybe they'll just stop, because they're not, like, I wasn't engaging back. I wasn't saying anything back. And they didn't stop. Eventually, when I never ever gave back in, they did, because I think they realized that I wasn't the common denominator of all of their issues, and they realized they were all really unhappy with themselves, and ended up all turning on each other and fighting with each other. So that's like kind of how that went down with them. But like I said, it had gotten so bad to the point where I would come home from school and I would cry. I was numb, and then I would cry and I would cry, and I would cry for hours to my mom, like, why is this happening to me? Why does everybody hate me? Like, what did I do so wrong to deserve this? Like, I just don't understand. I don't know. I don't know what else I can do. Sorry, I'm like reimagining it, and it was not good at all. I remember I would just lock myself in the bathroom downstairs, and I would just cry, and I mean, numerous times, you know, trying to take my own life, wanting to take my own life for sure, because I mean, what was there to live for? I mean, I was, you know, that's such a crucial age, especially for like even boys too, but for girls, there's so much going on at that time in your life, so much is changing. And just imagine going through all that and then having nobody, and having everybody in the world feel like they're against you. Not only just like feeling it, like saying it to each other. And like, I'm talking, I would walk into the courtyard at school, it's like a pin would drop. Nobody wanted to invite me to sit with them. Nobody wanted me to talk to them. If people talked to me, if I would go try to talk to people, they would find a way to get out of it. Nobody invited me to anything. And I would see like online, everybody like that I'd grown up with, like hanging out, partying together, just enjoying life. And I'm not sure, there might have been other things going on with them, but I can't say for certain. But at least they at least had people, you know, sporting events, football games. I would be standing by myself in the crowd, which really sucked, because it was like I don't have any friends to hang out with, and I have friends to talk to, but I just wanted to be involved. I just wanted to be there. I wanted to be a part of my school. I wanted to cheer them on. I tried so hard to be a part of something, and even people on my dance team wouldn't really. It was just like this known thing around school that like nobody fucking associate with Taylor Newgart. Like, people would hear my name like, oh, the Taylor Newgart. Like, you know Taylor Newgart? Like, of course I know Taylor Newgart. I don't even know what that means, but like, not in a positive way, I'm assuming. And like I said, so many of these people that I'd heard were spreading things and going along with the crowd or whatever. People that I had never even met, never talked to, couldn't tell you their name to this day. But for some reason, they just really had it out for me. And they wanted me to know that. So like I said, it was every single day, same thing, wasn't stopping. It just kept getting worse. And so it got to the point where, I mean, I did try to take my own life, and that was pretty much it for my mom. She was like, yep, nope, we're not doing this. Like, I'm not gonna have my child. I'm not gonna lose my child over these like horrible people. I remember one time my mom even went off on one of them at a game, because she was just like, I think like that mama bear came out of her, and I was so mad, because I was like, God, that's gonna make it so much worse. But at this point, it was like, what else could become worse? Like, everyone already hates me, you know what I mean? So she pulled me from school, and this was right during the time of that rumor of me being said that I was pregnant. which was just a perfect time to say that because obviously now I'm not in school. So why would I not be pregnant? Because the story just added up so well. Like, oh, she's pregnant. That's why she dropped out of school. Whatever. Nobody knew the details of what was going on because I wasn't telling anybody because it wasn't their business and nobody gave a shit about anything about me. So I went on home hospital, which is different than like, there's like something called like independent studies and then there's home hospital. So a lot of kids think like if they've told them that I've been on home hospital, like, oh, like I went to it's a continuation school. No, not a continuation school. It's the exact same school, it's the exact same classes, same teachers, same assignments, but you're doing it at home for medical or mental reasons. Anything while you're physically impaired to go to school, you have to do it at home. And because of the fortitude of how bad it had gotten at school, all of the, district people on the board, they understood. So I went on home hospital and then I stayed at home every day and I did my work from home. And on the weekends, or I would see my boyfriend from, like I said, from the other school. And it was nice because his friends still included me in things. Like they were like, I don't really give a shit like about what those people think. Like, you're with our friend, he loves you, so in turn, like, we love you, And so I spent most of my time doing that. I just tried to avoid my school, people from my school, just as much as possible. Just trying to disassociate so hard because I was so angry and so sad inside and felt so worthless. And just also felt super angry towards people that I had been friends with for years, that I had grown up with, that knew me, that loved me, that were a part of this, that were not trying to end this. They were not trying to, nobody spoke up. Nobody said, hey, like, we should probably not talk about her like this, or we should probably not do these things to her. We should probably not post this of her, or like, that's just, like, she doesn't deserve that. There's no reason for that. Nobody did that. Even though they thought that. I've had people that reached out during that time that were, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Nobody said anything though. Because like I said, nobody wants to be the one on the other end. So nobody speaks up. And that made me angry because I understand nobody does, but at the same time, like, people don't get that one person, just that one person saying that could be the difference between somebody's life or not, which is why I, aspire to be that person for other people now because I've been on the other end of it. So I am on home hospital doing my schoolwork from home, hanging out with my boyfriend, his friends. I'm still on dance team because I'm still technically, like, they didn't want me not to be able to do dance team. I didn't want to either. All of these people have taken away my dignity and my sanity. I'm not letting them take away something else that I love, which is, dance. That's what I used to get to escape all my other issues. Obviously more things were said about, when is she gonna have these babies? Like, she's not here, she dropped out, da, da, da. To this day, I actually don't know where those kids are, but apparently I was having twins, so if anyone knows where they're at, let me know. Because I also don't even know who the baby daddy is, but there's two of them out there somewhere. I never even had them, but apparently they're there, so that's lovely. And I laugh about it now. Why are you so angry? What are you so angry with me in your life that you think that is, like, valuable to say, or to, like, you don't have anything better to talk about? Like, now I think about it and I think, like, damn, like, these people wasted so many breaths on me, so many breaths. And it's, like, funny because it's such fan behavior. Like, you cannot say you're a better person than somebody or talk down on them, but then constantly be talking about them because you're clearly enough invested in that person to want to keep talking about them. Because if you don't care and you are a good person, you're not going to talk about somebody. There's not a reason to, because you're happy with your own life. So it's just interesting that they didn't see that in that way. But now, obviously, in it, I didn't see it that way either. But when I'm out of it now, I can see it that way, and I can understand that a lot more. And the whole thing of, don't listen to them, they're just jealous, or they're just unhappy, or, like, you're stronger than this, all these things. Like, yes, I was told all these things back in the day, but it doesn't mean that I didn't hurt. It didn't break up another part of me. I was already so broken. And then these people were like, actually, I'm gonna really just test your strength right now, and I'm gonna break every single part of you down until you have nothing left, and then we'll see how strong you are. Like, that's basically what they did. Yeah, and then so I did home hospital for about a year, and then I went back to school because I wanted to be at school. I'm a social person, I'm outgoing, I want to be involved, I want to talk to people. So I went back junior year. It was still pretty, things had died down for sure because nobody was currently like posting anything about me because I never responded back to anything. I wasn't antagonizing anybody. I just was keeping to myself, as protecting myself in the only way I knew how to, which was don't engage. Because eventually, like I said, then they eventually realized like, oh, maybe she's not the problem. Maybe like they find something, you know, people think, oh, they'll find something else to talk about. And I thought that. I really did think that they had found something else to talk about, which is shitty to say, but I did think that. Unfortunately, a few of them still treated me the same way. And it was just more of, they weren't intentionally like saying these things still, but people were just reminding me of all these things people had said to me, all these things that people had done to me, or they would come up to me in class and they would, you know, be like, oh my God, Taylor, like, I'm so sorry that you, like, I don't think this of you. Like, I don't know why people think this and this and this of you. Like, and I understand like the intentional wise of them trying to make me feel better, but also like, why are you going to remind me again about what these people did to me? Like, I know what was said about me. I know what people think of me. I know what happened. I lived it. Like, if you want to just genuinely like be a good person, like just ask me how my day is, you know? Nobody did that because I think they all had known what had come within that whole situation, and they were like, you know what, we don't have anything against her, but we're also going to kind of keep a distance and not really like invest in her anymore because we don't want, if this comes back to light where people just start like targeting her again, we don't want to be like associated with her, kind of thing. So still, I was not, you know, still wasn't invited to anything. Spent majority of my time outside my, you know, school and dance with my boyfriend and his crowd at his school. I need to have some sort of social, you know, part. I know what it was like when I didn't. And so I spent most of my time over there, and that was cool. That was fun. I had some good times there, and they really made me feel welcomed, and that really made me, I was like, that saved me in ways that I don't think they even will ever know. That is pretty much that story. This story really went on for so long that there was just so many things that I can't even tell you, that I have literally tried to block out of my brain so hard because it was so traumatizing. I know like I'm like, seem like I'm laughing like as like a coping skill, but I'm telling you, I don't wish this on anybody. And there are so many kids out there that are struggling with, everybody's struggling with their own battles. Like I've said in many episodes, everyone's dealing with their own battles, whether that's family, personal, you know, financial, grief, mental health, and whatever it is, everyone's going through their own battles. So for these people to know probably in their heart, whatever they were experiencing, that I was, and they didn't know what I was going through at home. They didn't, because I didn't tell them. I would even go to school. I had come to school at that time with you know, bruises at the beginning of the school year from covering up my body from what had happened at my father's house that night that I was removed. And I've been wearing hoodies. I wore hoodies all the time because of that. I didn't want people to see. And, you know, people, you know, assumed like, you know, I was gaining weight or I was pregnant or whatever. Just all these rumors I started hearing. Like, they had no idea what was going on behind the scenes, which is so sad to me that people just, you know, are just so mean for no reason. And I think the moral of me telling this story of my experience with that is, one, don't be a part of the crowd. Don't be a part of the crowd, and don't be afraid to not be, because karma is so real and it will come back to you. I promise you, whether you believe in it or not. I do 100% believe that when you put good things into the universe, or when you're a good person, good things will happen back to you, and vice versa. And even if you feel like whatever you're experiencing personally is so bad, just always remember that somebody else might be experiencing the exact same thing or something else. Everyone's going through something. So just like, be a good person. Be just a genuinely good person. If I'm the type of person where I would be at school and stuff and I would see the loner, like kind of nerd person sitting by themselves at lunch and didn't really have friends, and I would immediately go up to them and be like, just start a conversation, just talk to them. Just, people would look at me like, that's weird, like, you know, what are you doing with that person? Because I know how it is on the other end, and I no one deserves to sit alone. No one deserves to feel alone, because that feeling of feeling alone and feeling like the whole world is out to get you, and also feeling just, like I said, just completely alone, it's a feeling that I don't wish on anybody. I don't wish that on anybody. It is such a lonely feeling that leads so intensely to depression and anxiety. And you know, this is also one of the reasons that I had to get on medication, was because of this back then, because my depression had gotten so bad. And I vowed after that whole experience throughout high school, because even at the end of high school, which I am a COVID baby, so we didn't really graduate, I didn't really have anybody at the end. It was at the end, it's just my family and my best friend who lives in a different state now, which is fine, but I didn't have a group of people to walk with or hang out with. Nobody still. Even though people like had nothing against me, no issues or nothing, it was just still kind of like something that just never really like fizzled off between certain people. And in my heart, I would think I would have like some sort of like resentment towards these people. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like, I have grown up to know my truth. I know who I am as a person. I know who I was as a person back then. I know who I am as a person now. I know I'm a good person, and I know that God does give people certain circumstances and situations for certain reasons. And I know that this did happen to me for a reason, unfortunately, as painful as it was. I am such an advocate for that now, which I'm happy about, because I think that it's just super important to just be a light in any way you can be, whether that's somebody, like I said, that's at your school, that's sitting by themselves, just being like, hey, like, how are you doing? Just like there's just so many ways people don't understand how impactful they can be in somebody's life, and how detrimental they can also be to somebody's life. It goes both ways. What you do and what you say, how you act, how you walk, how you talk about others, by yourself, it follows you, and it can impact somebody completely, change their life in a whole different way. And I hope that hearing this, because now I see, a lot of the people, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just facts are facts. So many of those people that did all these things to me are still living in their same hometown, mediocre job, not happy, doing the same thing, hanging with the same crowd, not growing in life, like nothing. And I have not only graduated with my bachelor's degree, I'm already halfway done with my master's degree at 22. I have, I feel like I've lived on my own for 3 years, from 4 years, from the age of 18 to financially supporting myself, doing things that none of these kids, majority of them weren't doing and aren't doing still. It's also a big deal to understand that you are not what happens to you, and it is not who you are. It does not shape the person you are. It doesn't matter what those people said about me and said that I would never be something, would never make something of myself. And look at me now, trying to, work on, and my next move. I'm not trying to say that I'm quote unquote better than them, but like, facts are facts. Like I said, it's just very important for people. I hope that whoever's watching this, and if they've ever been through something similar, that they know that you're not alone. Like, you are not alone. And if you ever want to talk about it, or you ever want to, just vent, or you feel like you just don't have anybody at that time, like, reach out to me via social media or whatever. And I would love to hear your guys' stories and be there for you as well, because everybody has a story. And this specifically it's such a very prominent thing, especially in today's society. I know more so cyberbullying than physical bullying. I know now it's like a bigger thing. But I've seen countless suicides of young girls my age at that time for same exact things. And it's so crazy to me that is posted, and I hope so hard that the people that were on the other end of it see that. And because I see people being like, oh, these people that did this to her are at their funeral, they're saying this about them online. No, like, we won't forget. we might forgive, but we won't forget. We know who you were, okay? And it makes my heart hurt that it takes that, like, so aching that it takes to get to that point for people to realize, oh shit, like, what the fuck was going on? Like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, nobody understands the severity of their actions until things like that happen. And God forbid that needs to keep happening for people to realize that this needs to be something, awareness needs to be spoken up about, needs to be, and not just like where they do the, you know, no bullying in schools or whatever. Like, no, we need real people to share their stories of what they actually went through, because nobody listens until they know real life. What are the ends of these? How does this end? Because it never ends good. I'm just so proud of myself that I was strong enough to get the help I need, and to know that just know that that was not who I am. Those things did not define me, and that I would eventually find my place. I would find my niche. I would find my people, whether that's one person, whether that's whatever. And I would be so content with the person that I am that nothing anybody said further would affect me in that way ever again. And I'm not saying it now that when people say things, because people still talk. People talk about everybody for different reasons. I'm not saying that words don't hurt and that I don't feel like, wow, like that kind of hurt my feelings, whatever. But nowhere near will I ever let people have that power that they had over me again, because it's just so comical to me now that I see the people that they are and the people that they were then, and think, wow, like, these were the people that were doing this to me. They were so unhappy and so angry with themselves in their own lives that they wished so badly on somebody else. But yeah, that's kind of that story for you guys. So I have about, 3 more episodes until I start to bring guests on. So please let me know what you guys want to hear about next. If there's something that you want to hear about my life that you're curious about, like subject wise, let me know as well, because sometimes it's hard to think about things. I want to talk about positive things too, because I feel like I just talked to somebody about this, and I know positive things have happened to me at this time. There was just also a lot of stuff drowned by bad and hatred and sadness during that part of my life because of all this that was incurred all at one time. It was just like when it rains it pours, always. But I don't want everyone to think that there are things that I did do that are positive, and I want you guys to know that as well. So let me know what subjects you guys want to hear about. And then please, if you're on a streaming platform, download it, like it on Spotify, Apple. It really helps the podcast. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. It's super easy. It's literally free. The subscribe button is free. Like it, share it, love it. And if you have anybody in your life that you feel should hear these things or should be aware of these things, or maybe going through the same things, and you're like, I want them to see that what it's like on the outside, what it can be, because it might seem so dark in the moment, and it is, and it's so painful. And I can also see that it's not forever. It will never be forever. And that when you get out of it, you can still be successful, boss baby, live your best life, love yourself, love others, still be a light for other people, and just be grateful for every breath that we do have here. That is my ending. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.